Hey y'all, this is AL Pick Madame, and this is the recap review for Twenties. So the episode starts out with Ida and Hattie at Ida's house playing, I guess, a non-copyrighted version of Uno by the name of Bruno. I was like, y'all know y'all are crazy. But anyway, they seem to be vibing out really well, and then they in the middle of talking and things, and then Ida called her babe or babe, and she was like, "You called me babe," and so you over here willing to lose the game because this heifer done called you babe. Child, she just getting into the moment. Like I will believe it when I see it if Ida actually settles down because she will play these young girls to the left and then move on to somebody else. So anyway, Marie is feeling overwhelmed by the wedding planning. Her husband to be is sitting up here like he is like really into it. He is really into it. Like this particular morning, they supposed to be getting ready for work, and he talking about, so what do you think about an HBCU ban? I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now, I ain't mad at it because I live for an amazingly, amazing sounding HBCU band. I love band life. I wanted to be in band, y'all. My parents could not afford any of that stuff. I wanted to go to my cosmetology classes when I was in high school, but the fee was too much and the different products and the mannequin head and all that stuff, it was too much. So I couldn't do that. So y'all, because I would have been just going to school half the day and then the last half of the day until it was almost time for me to go home, get on my bus and go home or whatever, the school bus, I would have been off the premises and in cosmetology school. So yeah, like I keep trying to tell y'all, like I really was into the hair thing back in the day. Like I really would have had a big and booming channel geared towards hair and nails back in the day, but it is what it is. So anyway, he's doing the most. So anyway, while she in the middle of her conversation with him, she gets a phone call, and it's from Tiana Taylor's husband. Y'all, I can never pronounce his name. I don't know if it's Inman Shumford or whatever. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Tiana Taylor's husband. So he calling her talking about he finally finished the book. So last season she gave him a book to read. And so he done read the book, and she was like, well, about time. Like she's in the middle of this conversation in front of her fiance. And so you can tell that, she kind of feeling the conversation, but I don't think that Chuck is understanding how much they vibe. Like they have an amazing vibe for real. But we're going to get into that later on. That's all I'm going to say. But he really wants to get on board with making a movie with her. Because last season, he loved how she was so enthusiastic about the movie making process and certain aspects of it when everybody else that's over there was just on some, ooh, whatever you say go, it's okay. But she really wanted something to be of substance to be put out there, especially if somebody black was going to be attached to it and not just slap something on there only for the sake of money. So anyway, Hattie is in Ida's tub soaking, and she ended up FaceTiming Nia, and she talking to her, and she was like, Heifer, what you got going on? And we all know she ain't working right now, and Ida is over here floating her cash, I guess, like taking care of her. And so she tried to make it seem like, well, I mean, I'm just trying to give you a break from being up in your spot. She was like, girl, you just like being up under Ida, and I ain't mad at it, do what you do. Like, you ain't got to lie to kick it. Like, girl, what you lying for? So anyway, she's making it seem like, she has her creative juices flowing. She's been writing a script and all this other stuff. Everything's going well. So anyway, later on, we see Ida on the set. And so she's she's on the, what do they call it? Studio lot. And she sees Nia, and she was like, you're not supposed to be here for however much longer. She was like, oh, I know. I'm just prepping. I just want to be early and all this other stuff. So then she was like, well, we tried to verify you, but you don't have a social media presence like that. So she was like, well, I don't really do social media like that. I did try to get followers, especially for her yoga stuff. And she just don't do social media like that. So I was just like, girl, I'm gonna need you to do something because that show finna pop off. So it's like, girl, get your social media presence up. So it is what it is. So anyway, Hattie ended up going to that coffee shop where that barista works that live for her, but she don't live for her. And it's sad because it's like in my mind, I'm just like, oh, y'all better be together. But Hattie ain't here for her. That's not her cup of tea. She likes films. She definitely likes films. So, and that person is not a film. So anyway, she up in there, and then she actually runs into some people that she used to work with. Y'all know that crazy white girl and one of the other people who were like assistants or whatever that worked there. And I think one is the assistant, and one, I forgot what she does. She might be a writer as well. So anyway, I think that they bumped the white girl up at some point. I don't forgot how that go. I don't forgot where it went. But anyway, y'all know who I'm talking about. So anyway, they all happy to see her. So she in line, and so the stud was happy. Well, whatever she is, I don't know what her pronoun is. The woman, the barista who was into Hattie last season, she was like, "Oh, haven't seen you in a while. How you doing or whatever?" And so she talking to her, and she was like, let me get my usual, please. You could tell like the way she looked at her, she was like kind of shocked to see her, but she was happy a little bit. And I was just like, child, the fact that she don't like you, it has to sting. Like she kind of looked like, ooh, wait a minute, I ain't seen her in a while. So she went up there to get her usual, and the card declined. And so she was like, wait a minute, let me try that again. Let's run that back one more time. The card declined. So old girl was like, yeah, let me get the people behind you while you figure that out. So she went over to the side to check the account. She was tired in her spirit because she forgot to turn off the auto draft for her student loans, and all her money is now gone. Child. So the people was going to try to, go ahead and volunteer and pay for her stuff for her. I'm just like, that is just so sad. If it ain't one thing, it's another with Hattie. So Marie is at work in another unrealistic meeting where everybody is pretty much like, we're going to dismiss everything that Marie is saying, and whatever the black man is saying that is catering to the white people in this room, we're going to roll with that because we feel like it's going to make us money. We don't care about the trauma that you're talking about implementing in these films and whatnot. We just want what's going to sell. I don't care what you're talking about. If it's going to sell, do what you do. So the meeting ended, and y'all know the white dude that ended up being her boss, they in there having an awkward moment where he congratulates her on her engagement. And so she is like awkwardly like, oh, okay, thank you. And he was like, yeah, so I'm going to go and do this. And I was just like, child, it just has to stop. So anyway, so Nia is at the yoga studio and Hattie is there. So Hattie is trying to read this heifer and tell her, you need a social media presence. And apparently you really don't know how this social media thing goes. And so she was explaining to her what her social media is looking like, and how because she's a writer, she might actually like post memes that are funny, but it has to be like certain ones. She just don't post anything. And like they are really actually funny to her or whatever. And so Nia wasn't really hearing what she was talking about. Not really. But what did get her attention was the dude, I don't know what his name is on here. I keep forgetting. But Big Sean. Y'all know the rapper Big Sean. He is so fine. Like, Lord. He is so fine. Y'all excuse me. He is so fine. So she was like, oh, look who got a phone. Because y'all know last season, like, he was all about being one with nature. And if you want to get in contact with him, email him. And at his earliest convenience, when he gets to a computer, that's when you'll hear back from him, if that's what it's going to be. Like, in the meantime, in between time, y'all better send him up a smoke signal because he was not here for none of that. So anyway, she looking like, look who got social media and they got a phone. Okay, so she's watching a live that he's doing. And he's basically like trying to encourage people, and he meditating and all this other stuff. And like, she's about to lead her yoga class. So I was like, okay, whatever. So she done sat down and she done welcomed everybody to the class. She thanked them in advance for paying in advance. Then she was like, I just want y'all to support me and go ahead, and before we get started, follow me. So everybody ended up following her. I was like, well, that's a good little start for you, girl. That's a good little start for you to do that. So I'm here for that. So anyway, Marie is out having dinner with Chuck, and she had a conversation with him, and she was like, I mean, I think that, we're rushing things. Don't you think we're rushing? And so he was like, no, we've talked about marriage since we first started dating. So I don't know what you're talking about. So he was like, well, if you want to slow things down, we can. And so she was like, oh, no, no, no. And I'm just like, girl, he acted like he here for you. Like, if you feel like you need to slow it down, why not say, let's hold off for a little while or something? If he willing to do it, he ain't even get mad. Like, the fact that y'all were trying to communicate and he was communicating back with you, girl, be happy you have somebody who's actually communicating with you. Ma'am. So anyway, child, the people who be having, who have it all, they just be getting on my last nerve. So anyway, Ida and Hattie are in bed, and Ida is going over Hattie's script. And so she was like, I like to go over scripts twice to make sure that, I'm thorough. But she started critiquing her. And I like the fact that even though they are together or they are in a situationship / entanglement or whatever they got going on, she was being real with her, and Hattie didn't want to hear it. And I'm just like, Heifer, you need to grow up. Like, you in your feelings. This Heifer has all these shows going on. To me, she literally is like the female version of Tyler Perry. She got all these shows going on simultaneously, but you want to get in your feelings when she tell you the truth, which is, yes, I am a Black woman in this industry that is dominated by white males, even though they don't fit my demographic of the people who watch my show. But you want to sit up here and get mad at me for telling you, yeah, you might be a young Black gay woman living in America, but you have to still appeal to more than just yourself. Because at this moment, she like, well, I like the script. And so she was like, oh, okay, party of one though. Like, I mean, what is we doing? Like, that's not going to get your stuff pushed to the front of the line for anybody to want to read your stuff and want to put it out there and push it for you. Because again, the people who are helping to push that out there are not you. You even know yourself that these are older white men who don't know nothing about your struggles and all this other stuff, but you have to be able to play it in a way that they are going to accept it and be like, okay, you know what? I'm here for this. I'm here for this. I support this. I'll back this. So this helping and got in her feelings and left Ida's house. And I'm just like, girl, bye. Girl, bye. And I mean, it's not like she said it was a terrible thing. She was like, well, you did say it was good. You did say it was a good script, right? So I'm gonna go make it better. I'm gonna go make it great. So she done left. I'm like, girl, you just I can't. Like, girl, people would kill to be in her position, to have somebody like Ida to tell her vital information like that. Like, come on now. I'm sorry, that didn't get on my nerves. So anyway, so the barista, she got in her feelings, so she ain't got nowhere to go. I guess, I don't know if this is a 24-hour place or it's just late at night, but she ended up going back to that coffee shop. And so she's sitting down. The barista always could tell what Hattie got going on. Like, if she's stressed, she looked like she happy, she looked like she sad. So she straight up told her, like, you be on it. Like, yeah, you be on it. And so she told her what the situation was. And so the only thing she always leaves out is that the fact, especially as of late, she's dealing with Ida. So she was just like, look, it sounds like, why? Why are you in your feelings about this? So she gonna try to make it seem like she wasn't in her feelings, but she is. But then she was like, man, that hurt my feelings. And I'm like, we know. I didn't even know that hurt your feelings. And you sat up there and left that woman's house for no reason, when you could have sat up there and continued to perfect it so that it could be palatable yet again. So anyway, after all was said and done, the barista was like, look, I have a writers group that meets every week. If you want to come and, be a part of that, you can do that. So she was like, well, I prefer to write by myself. So she was like, well, how's that been working out for you? So she thought about it for a second. She was like, okay, well, send me that information. What's that? What that information hitting for? So I can get the details so I can start coming. Because what you're doing ain't working, heifer. So anyway, Marie is not here for the sex that is currently happening with her fiance, Chuck. Like, he is on top of her, humping away, and she's just there looking like this. I was done. I was like, somebody please get up, because this is just looking like rape. Looking like she's being a raped corpse at this moment. I am not here for it. So anyway, this heifer then commences to have moments where she is thinking of Tiana Taylor's husband, because I keep telling her I cannot think of that man's name or how to pronounce it. Having moments where she's thinking of him, then she starts having orgasms. She done got all the way into the sex because she thinking about this man. I was like, ma'am. She done went all the way off. Like, you had to think of a whole other man so that you can get off. I cannot. So anyway, Hattie done went down to the unemployment office, and Miss Dubois is tired of her spirit of her. She done told her, ain't no work, come back next month. What? What you mean come back next month, ma'am? You ain't suggest no, what's them places called? Cause I've been, and it is what it is. Y'all excuse the sirens. What's them places? I don't know, I can't even think of temporary agency or nothing. She said, ain't nobody hiring, come back next month. And so I was just like, child, she was like, really? Like, ain't nothing going on? Like, she even, like, she can go back and forth with Hattie because she told that heifer, she was like, thank you for keeping me employed and with my benefits because you're unemployed. Like, child, I was like, you did not have to read her in a moment like this. This heifer ain't got no money in her bank account, but it is what it is. So anyway, we at the end of the episode, Hattie called her mama. Y'all know her mama is being played by Kim Whitley. So she talking to her. She done finally told her mama that she done got fired. Her mama is like, I know you ain't sat up here and got fired. Was you sleeping with the boss? So her mama can infer by her response that yes, she indeed has been sleeping with the boss. So she was like, why would you do that? What would you doing? That don't even make no sense, which it don't, and that's stupid. And so it just got to the point where she was like, well, you know, do you still keep in contact with that that driver, that delivery dude? Some old school dude do deliveries at some place. And so she done asked her mama if she could put in a good word for her because she need work. And so she was like, yeah, I'll page him in the morning. So she looking like, he got a beeper? She was like, yeah, he keep it old school. It is what it is. So then she was like, you need anything else, baby? So Hattie had the audacity to ask her mama if she can give her $50. And her mama acted like there was static on the phone and ended up hanging up on this heifer. I was like, child, that's so sad. But before she got off the phone, apparently this man like really is old school for real. This man still burns CDs. So she was like, ooh, tell him that I want a Whitney Prince mix, and I gotta make sure that you give me good love, give you good. What is the song? What is the Whitney Houston song called? You Give Good Love. She said tell him to make sure that song in particular is on there, if nothing else. That's her for asking for stuff, ain't got no money. Then gonna tell her mama, well, you know I ain't got no money. So she was like, you know that's gonna cost extra. Child, you want the most because you want him to put two different artists on one CD. But anyway, that was the end of the episode. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this recap review. Please subscribe to my channel if you've not done so. I'll see y'all later on. Bye.